Okay. Hello, everybody. I think we can start a session. We have two papers in the session. The session is called Fault Analysis and Symmetric Algorithms II, means that this is the second session on this topic. And we have two talks, as I said, and the first talk is going to be presented online, means that we have a video to play here. And the presenter, or let's say the corresponding author, is also available online through Zoom for to answer the questions. And of course, the online audience can also post the question in the chat. Good. The first paper is called Efficient Persistent Fault Analysis with a Small Number of Chosen Plaintexts. The paper is written or is from the University of, if I pronounce it correctly, I mean probably I don't, Zhejiang University of China.
Yes.
And thank you. And corresponding author who presents the paper is Fan Trung or Terry. And now we watch the video and listen to what you have presented for us.
Thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Fan Zhang, coming from Zhejiang University. This paper proposes a new fault analysis method called CPPFA, which means chosen plaintext persistent fault analysis. This talk consists of 4 parts. First, background. The security of cryptographic algorithms has been improved by cryptographers, and it is difficult to obtain the master key using brute force or simple algebraic analysis. Fault attack is a method of recovering the key by injecting force into the physical device. It was first proposed by Dan Monet in 1996. It is an active attack and has 2 stages, the online fault injection stage and the offline fault analysis stage. The attack needs some equipment to generate non-invasive, semi-invasive, and invasive injections. Possible injection methods can be clock glitch, voltage glitch, EM injection, and laser injection. Most of fault injections that are studied are actually non-invasive attacks. The result of the fault injection, according to the duration, can be divided into 3 categories: transient faults, permanent faults, and persistent faults. Different from permanent faults and transient faults, persistent faults can hold for a certain duration and will not disappear until the device reboots. In CHES 2018, we proposed persistent fault analysis, in short, PFA. The fault model in this paper is just the same as the original PFA. In our model, we assume the attacker can inject force before the encryption of a block cipher. For example, he can alter the S box in AES. The injected faults are persistent for multiple encryptions. The adversary is capable of collecting multiple ciphers, and the watchdog counter is not considered in this case. The core idea of persistent fault attack is that the previous tightly coupled fault injection stage is now partitioned into 2 stages: the loosely coupled fault injection stage and the subsequent encryption stage. So in total, we have 3 stages. The interesting part of PFA is that the fault is persistent in the S box. However, the faulty elements of S box, for example, 63 marked in red here, may not be accessed. Some ciphers are correct, some are incorrect. So how to do the simple persistent fault analysis? Suppose the correct element is V, and V star will appear twice, and we never see the original V. The distribution of the values of that cipher X is now becoming biased. So V star is with a probability of 2 over 256, and V is with a probability of 0. The adversary can exploit 3 types of fault ligages. For the 0 probability and the maximum probability, he can directly know the key. For other probabilities, he can still get some impossible values of the key and reduce the key search space, as shown in the red circle here. By the way, V and V star are known to the attacker. Here is the illustration of the analysis result, quite straightforward. Like the figures in DP and CPA, we plot the probability of values for ciphertext bytes along with the number of samples. If you see the red curve, which is all 0, you know the value of V. If you see the blue curve which converges 202 over the 256, you know the values of V star. So that is the core idea of original PFA. With enough number of ciphertexts, the red curve can be easily detected. All curves can be used to recover the key byte. In practice, PFA can meet certain challenges since commonly utilized injection techniques such as clock glitch and electromagnetic pulse usually create multiple faults per injection. In this page, NF is the number of faults, Cj is the J byte of ciphertext, Kj is the J byte in the last long key. If NF faults are injected in the S box, there will be NF indistinguishable missing values and other NF values with double frequency for the specific ciphertext Cj. In the case where the initial values of NF faults are known, the third method of PFA, which is circled red here in this page, can still work. This means that a ciphertext can reduce NF impossible values in the search space of Kj by equation 1 and 2. So this is PFA with multiple faults. Next, we will explain the motivation of our research, which is to remove the requirement of knowing the fault value. In most of the previous work, they require either a strong attacker who shouldn't hold the prior knowledge of the faults, or a complicated process to recover the fault locations and values before the fault analysis. The first motivation is to deal with the unknown faults. We are chasing a solution to relax such constraint and recover the secret key directly. Such information could be gained as byproducts during the key recovery. There are some analysis methods which do not require the fault locations and values to be known in advance, such as SPFA and PFCA. They meet certain difficulties in fully exploiting the fault leakages and still require a large number of incursions. Their overall complexity is high. Especially, SPFA can only reduce the remaining key search space to 2 to the power of 50. To obtain the unique key, it requires one verification for each candidate key, and the time complexity can be considered as big O of 2 to the power of 50, which is a lot. Although PFCA can achieve the best time complexity, 2 to the power of 12 in most of cases, the worst time complexity is 2 to the power of 12 plus 2 to the power of 128, which is no better than exhaustive search. We are motivated to propose new methods which can fully utilize the leakage from multiple position faults and require merely extremely low number of plaintext ciphertext pairs. In addition, the time complexity of the new methods should be more stable while satisfying feasibility. There are some analysis methods which merely rely on the statistics of the ciphertext, such as PFA. They do not use the chosen plaintext. It is difficult for them to control the whole analysis process, and the possibly correct candidates among the remaining key search space are not unique. Accordingly, it is a must for them to ask for a pair of correct and plaintext ciphertexts for the purpose of additional verification. We are motivated to reduce the key search space directly down to 1. Therefore, no verification pair of encryptions is required. Next, we will explain our method named as CPPFA, chosen plaintext-based persistent fault analysis. First, we give a detailed illustration of a multiple fault model. This page shows a correct S-box on the left and a faulty S-box on the right. 3 faults are induced after 1 injection. Those faults could also be induced through multiple different injections, as they are persistent and could be accumulated. Suppose A, B, C are the index of corresponding elements. For the first 2 faults, the initial values VA and VB become the VC, marked as red blocks. Note that there is already one element in the S-box whose initial value is exactly VC. Therefore, there are 3 elements in total here in the faulty S box whose values will become the same as VC. Similarly, for the third fault, the initial value VD becomes VE here, marked as blue box. So there are exactly two elements in the faulty S box whose value is exactly VE. Therefore, the values of VA, VB, and VD will not exist in the output of the faulty S box. These values can form a set of impossible values denoted as D, set D. Note that for this example, the elements in set D is VA, VB, and VD. Now we give the main idea of CPPFA. We assume the attacker has the capability to control the plaintext and obtain the corresponding ciphertext. Specifically, the attacker can use random plaintext or construct some chosen plaintext. For chosen plaintext, the attacker will construct 2 to the power of W special ones for encryption, denoted as B0, P1, and P to the power of W minus 1. If W is 256, then we have 256 special plaintext here. Among those plaintexts, only one element ranges from 0 to the power of W minus 1, and all the other elements are exactly the same for all plaintexts. So in the figure, the right parts are all same, and the only difference lies in those elements in the middle. Then the attacker can collect the corresponding ciphertext for subsequent analysis. In the upper part of the figure, after accessing the faulty S box, the 3 plaintexts PA, PB, and PC generate the same ciphertext. So this is the key point. This is the same case for the lower part here. Here we show a more concrete example of CPPFA. We use the S box of AES to illustrate the fault model. Suppose 3 faults are injected into the S box, resulting in the 3 faulty elements. As in the picture here, the red box are the faulty elements. The yellow ones in the second line are correct elements. So you may consider the induced fault actually copied the first 3 elements in the second line into the first line. This could happen to the case such as DVFS on mobile phones, or some like electromagnetic emission attacks on the microcontroller board. So the order values of these elements are 63, 7C, and 7B. After injection, the new values change to CA, 82, and C9. Without loss of generality, we can construct 256 chosen plaintext on the first byte of AES, as shown in this example. So the first byte ranges from 00 to FF. The attacker can increase them to obtain the corresponding 256 ciphertext. So due to the fault injection, the attacker may collect some identical ciphertext. In this example, P0 and P0 prime are the same first element but in the different plaintext. K0 is the first byte in the first row key, so P0 at K0 is 00. P0 prime at K0 is 10. But due to the fault, after the first substitution, the intermediate value T0 and T0 prime here are the same. As shown in this picture, they are both CA. So corresponding ciphertext after the subsequent 9 rounds of encryption are the same. Due to the fault injection and our method of choosing plaintext, there are 3 sets of plaintext. In each set, the 2 plaintexts generate the same ciphertext. Suppose we know K0, first byte of the first round key. Actually, the value of K0 is unknown, but it can be enumerated. For a specific K0, since P1 is a byte of plaintext, then P1 and K0 is known. Since the output of the correct S box is known, so we can get the output value V1 and V1 prime. P1 and P1 prime are the two different plaintext, but due to the fault injection, the corresponding ciphertext are the same. So we can infer that one of V1 and V1 prime is missing in the faulty S box, so as to V2 and V3. In other words, one of Vi and Vi prime should be an impossible value. All these forms new constraint for the say K0. Totally, we can construct 8 impossible value set. The 8 is because in this example we collect 3 sets of identical ciphertext. Thus, we have 3 pairs of impossible values. These values can form the 8th set. However, only one of them could be true. After getting the impossible value set, we can make use of the last round and the ciphertext. For each value of K0, there are 8 different impossible value sets for the output of S box. So for each impossible value set, the attacker can use the third method of PFA to reduce the key search space. Normally, Vi here is unknown. However, since we are enumerating the impossible value set, Vi here can be considered as known. The attacker can use the inverse of the key schedule to get the key in the first round and compare with our guess on the K0. During this process, no additional verification is required. We also give the analysis of the search space of the key. E means expectation. E1 and E2 are the expectations for the right and the wrong guess, respectively. So the total expectation can be calculated as in the equation here. As shown in this table, the more number of faults, the smaller size of the key search space. Finally, we take a look at how to apply CPPFA to various block ciphers. We applied CPPFA to AES 108 and a lightweight block cipher LED64. For both ciphers, CPPFA performed well. In case 1, we fixed the number of chosen plaintext as 256 and 16 for AES and LED. And we try to evaluate the number of remaining key search space, denoted as the absolute value of K here. From the result in the table, when the number of faults grows, the remaining key search space becomes smaller. Now this observation is quite interesting. In case 2, we fix the desired key search space as 1. For different number of faults denoted as an F, we try to know how many plaintexts are required, in addition to the original 256 chosen plaintext. From this table, with more number of faults, instead we need less plaintext. So this is quite different from our previous experience. Normally we say more faults will result in more complicated analysis and require more plaintext. In CPPFA, more faults actually reduce the number of plaintext that are required. So here is the summary. We introduce the CPPFA and apply it to the AES 108 and LED64. For both ciphers, CPPFA performed well. So we analyze the expectation of the remaining key search space and the number of required ciphers and the scenario of multiple faults. We analyze the time complexity of CPPFA to ensure the feasibility of CPPFA in most of the cases. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay, thank you so much. Terry, do you hear us?
Hello?
Hey, Terry?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you hear us? Good, thank you. Okay, is there any questions? Yeah, I checked the online audience here. No. Okay. I actually have a question myself, Terry.
Yes.
I don't know whether how you can actually show the slides or explain the things. I mean, if it's possible, please, I don't know whether we are able to go through the slides. If not, then probably just
I can. You want to
just
see the slides, right? Okay.
no,
Second.
at the moment I explain. I mean, I ask my questions and then you decide how to explain this. Thank you for giving the introduction and also the background of this kind of attacks. That I have understood how this works, but one of the things is my mind. You know, you check the different ciphertexts that actually should be faulty, and you find some kind of a collision between ciphertexts. This is what I have understood.
Yes.
And then and then supposing that this collision is happening in the first round of the AES, for example, then you lead to two collisions which are actually the same, or the collision in already at the first subbytes layer of the first round, and then the rest continues completely identical.
Yes.
My question is, how can you make sure that in the later rounds, you do not hit again the faulty Spock cells? Or whether it affects at all if again they hit the faulty Spock cells.
Because the chosen plaintext is designed by us, so only one byte is different. For the other bytes are all the same. So after the first round, for example, the substitution, for some plaintext, the intermediate like state, they're the same. So for all the rest of 9 rounds, so this is just like a propagation. If there's some like collision, it will happen to all the like 3 plaintext that we selected. So I think eventually when you look at the output, the ciphertext, you will still see the like the same ciphertext.
Okay, that I understand, but can it happen also that in the first round of the cipher you don't have any collision, but then the collision happens in the next round? Then it doesn't fit to your assumption.
Okay. That might be possible, because we think so probably I think I need to go back and check with my students. Yeah, good question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. But then what you said is that if two let's say round outputs are the same, then of course when they are identical, then it doesn't matter, they collide all the time till end of the cipher, right?
Yeah, so for some of them, for those plaintexts that in the like the set, I mean, so if there's some collision in the later rounds, I think all the ciphertexts still will be the same.
Okay. Then you do not consider actually the fault-free outputs, means that you do not compare this at all with the output of ciphertext when this fault is not injected into the device. Because both of them can be faulty, yeah. Both of them may also hit both of these plaintexts, yeah. That they are identical in the first round. They can also go through. I mean, of course, they produce the same ciphertexts, but they are not necessarily both of them correct, right?
In that case, if you want to identify those like ineffective like ciphertexts, basically for the same plaintext, you need to encrypt it twice. But in our case, we just send a bunch of chosen plaintext. So actually, we just say we compare the encryption result for the different ciphertext plaintext. We did not use the case for like for the same plaintext we encrypt for twice, then we compare we identify the like ineffective or like erroneous ciphertext. So we didn't do this.
Let me summarize my question again here. Sorry. Do you need fault-free ciphertext in any part of your attack?
Fault-free means like ineffective, right?
Yes, ineffective.
There's
Means that
no
before
there's like a fault injected in the middle of the equations, but the calculations did not access that faulty S box. Eventually, there's the ciphertext is still correct, right? This is what you mean.
actually
Fault
not.
free.
Actually not, but I think we ran out of the time, and I would love to give opportunity to other people who are in the room to ask a question. If not, then we move on to the next talk, and then we will be in contact through email probably.
Okay,
Yeah?
thank you.
Thank you. Is there?
I was thinking about.
No worries. Is there any question here? Okay, let me check again the chat. And there is no question there. Okay, let's thank Terry again.
Thank you.
Good. We are preparing for the next talk. Yeah. It's so one slot. Okay, good. Now we have the second talk or second paper of the session called Automatic Search of Mid in the Middle Differential Fault Analysis on AES like ciphers. And the talk is given by Queen or Qingguan Yu.
Yeah,
The stage is yours.
Thanks for the introduction. I'm going to give a talk about our work entitled Automatic Search of Mid-in-the-Middle Differential Fault Analysis on AES-like ciphers. This is a joint work with Xiaoyang Dong, Ling Yueqin, Yongze Kang, He Tingjia, Xiaoyun Wang, and Guoyan Zhang. This presentation will be carried out from the following aspects. First, introduce some backgrounds on the fault analysis, and then show the technicals proposed in this paper to achieve better differential fault analysis, and then show some applications that we have achieved to improve some differential fault analysis on some block ciphers. Finally, I'll get the conclusion. Fault attack was proposed by Boone et al. At 1997. It is an active cyclical attack, which uses like voltage starving light pulses or something else to disturb the operation of cryptographic DLC. And we can get like a correct of and faulty ciphertexts, and we can analyze some key information from this ciphertexts. Differential fault analysis was proposed by Biham and Shamir at 1997. It exploits the differential information between the correct and faulty ciphertexts to retrieve the secret key. Following is a framework of the differential fault analysis. A fault is injected to the internal state and affects the next round of encryption. And we can get some key information from the crafted ciphertexts. Here we show some assumptions of differential fault analysis. Some are easy to achieve, but some are very difficult in the implementation. For example, single or multi-bit fault injection with random location is one of the most easiest to achieve in the implementation. And the second is random value byte-on-neighbor fault injection with uncontrolled location. Random value byte-on-neighbor fault injection with control location is also commonly used assumptions in the differential fault analysis, and the strongest assumptions of adversary is that they can inject bit faults with control location. In this paper, our technicals is based on the fault models, and we can inject faults, inject a random neighbor or byte faults to the internal state of the block ciphers, and the location of the fault in the state could be controlled. We can obtain both the correct and faulty ciphertexts, and which we use this based on this fault model. We try to achieve better differential fault analysis, which means better is that on the one hand we need less time complexity and computational resource, and we on the other hand we can inject faults at earlier rounds. Earlier round fault injections which lead to practical key recovery attack are more dangerous because then this means more rounds of the block ciphers need to be protected. At 2011, Debers et al. Proposed improved differential fault analysis on AES. Based on meet-in-the-middle approach, at this paper, they can inject faults at this point x sub -3. The second cell of the first clone. And after 2 rounds of propagation, we can see that there are differential on the diagonal of the internal state of z sub x -2. Sorry. Also, we didn't know the differential value at this cell, but we can see that after the mixed clones and around key operation, the differential value at the state x sub -1 equals to use V to denote this is V 3 times V and 2 times V. Such that we can build some differential equations like that the cell 0 and cell 1, the differential states at the different states are equal. And like some others, this 2 times the differential value at cell 2 equals to the differential 3 times the differential value at cell 3. To recover the k-bits, that we can get some k-bits in the state and to determine the differential value. For example, we can guess the k-bits 0, 7, 10, 13 of the last round, and one equivalent k-bits of the second last round key to determine the differential value at x sub -1 cell 0, and so 5 for cell differential value of cell 1. To filter these k-bits, we can build a truth table for 5 k-bits in blue, and indexed by the differential value at cell 0, and filter the other 5 k-bytes for in red. To recover these 10 k-bytes, we need about 10 pairs of correct and faulty ciphertexts. The time complexity of this step is about 2 to the power 40. At 2021, Bohr et al. Proposed an MILP and automatic search model for meet-in-the-middle attack. They use blue cells and red cells to spread the chunks that can be computed in different directions, and they build constraints for the values that propagating and the partition matching states to which can filter the wrong values for the chunks in each computational directions. In this paper, we proposed an MIOP-added automatic search tool for MITM-based DFA attack. This is very different from the previous work because that we need to constrain that the differential propagates from the fault occurs, and we can build constraints to find some matching equations like the matching point like delta A equals to delta B, and we can guess k bits in set 1 to obtain the differential value delta A and set 2 for delta B, and we can filter these k bits by the differential equation. Here we show the 3-bit encoding scheme for each cell, calling them omega 0, omega 1, and omega 2. We use omega 0 to denote that this cell is active in differential propagation, and use omega 1 equals to 1 to denote that the differential value of this cell can be derived from the k base in set 1, and omega 2 equals to 1 denotes that the differential value can be derived from set 2, such that we use white cells encoded as 000 to denote the inactive cells. In differential propagation, there are no differential information in this cell, and the gray cell encoded as 100 to denote the active cells in differential propagation, but the values of this cell, the differential values of this cell cannot be derived from the k bits in set 1 or set 2. And for blue cell, encoded as 110, denotes the differential value of this cell could be derived from k bits in set 1, and the red cell 101, the differential value of this cell can be derived from set 2, and orange cell 111 denotes that the differential value of this cell can be derived from set 1 or set 2. And here we show some constraints for the basic components of encryption. The gray cells and white cells following the truncated differential propagation. If for sub-base operation, if the input cell is gray, the output cell is also gray, and the white output for white input. For XOR operation, if the inputs are all gray cells, the output is also gray, else the output is a white cell. And the differential values that can be derived from guessing k bits, the cells should be included in the decryption direction. For sub-S box, if the input cell is a blue cell, the output cell is also blue, and in the same way for red cells and orange cells. For XOR operation, if the input cells are all blue or orange, the output cell is also blue or orange. This is encoded by the variable omega 1 for each cell. And if the omega 1 of all input cells are equals to 1, the output cell, the omega 1 of output cell is also 1, and the same for the variable omega 2. Here we show some constraints for the matching state. There are some differential equations in this state, and this is depends on the components in the specific block ciphers. And the blue cells and red cells means that the differential values of these chunks can be computed in different directions, and they have some matching equations in Finally, we show that our automatic search tool is a multi-step solving process, which is very different from previous work because we may not allow to achieve the full key recovery attack with the fault injected to one point. For each step, the time complexity is dominated by the largest atom of number of elements in set 1 and set 2. And we also build some constraints for the key bits that have been recovered in previous steps. They will not be included in the next steps. To achieve practical key recovery attack, we set that the overall time complexity is less or equal to 2 to the power of 40. And we also consider the time complexity of exhaustive search space. It is less than the overall complexity. And such that we've set each step's objective function to minimize the time complexity of recovering the remaining qubits. Here are some results of our automatic search tool applied to some block ciphers like Skinny, Craft, Kwama, Prince, and Midori. Because we aim at achieve differential fault analysis with faults injected at the earlier round, so we use the round of previous work prepared 2 hours. Use the differential fault attack on Skinny as an example. First, we can inject faults at the cell 13 of x sub -8, and after 6 rounds of propagation, there are differential equations, and at this state, it's the differential value of cell 1 and cell 13 of x sub -2 are equal. We can guess 3 k bytes to determine the differential value delta x sub -2 cell 1, and also 3 bytes for the cell 13. We can build a truth table for the k bits, which is twinkle k2, twinkle k9, and twinkle k12, indexed by the value of differential value of cell 1 of x sub -2, and filter the values of the other 3 k bytes. To filter this 6 k bytes to one candidate's remaining, we need about we expect that there are 6 pairs of correct and faulty ciphertexts. So we need 6 fault injections, and the time complexity and memory complexity is both 2 to the power of 24. We can find another differential equation like at this state. For example, we can find the differential value of x sub -2 cell 4 equals to cell 12. We can guess twinkle k12 to determine the differential value at cell 4, because then the other 4 k bytes have been recovered in the first step, and the other 3 k bytes for the differential value of cell 12, such that we can build a truth table of the values of twinkle k12 indexed by the differential value, and then filter the values of the other 3 k bytes. This step need no additional fault injections, because we can use the 6 pairs of ciphertexts in the first step. And then we need to inject force at the other points like x sub minus 8 cells 14 and find the differential equation that the cell 12 and cell 14 are equal at delta x sub minus 2. This leads us to recover other 3 kbytes, but we need the other 3 fault injections. Finally, we can find other differential equation at this injection point. We can recover other kbytes and exhaustively search for the remaining kbytes value. The time complexity of exhaustive research is about 2 to the power of 24. We have experimented our attack based on C code on our PC. The results met our theory. After 1,000 repetitions, there are always one key candidates remaining. And we also find some improved attacks on Craft and Quama and Prince, Midori. Here I'll give the conclusions. In this paper, we proposed a generalized automatic search model for MitM-DFAs. It is a multi-step solving model, which is corresponding to multi-key recovery process. And we have successful applications for DFAs on some block ciphers. This takes some insights to further countermeasures of blocks of fault analysis on devices. Okay, that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Any questions? Okay, I don't see any other question in the chat. Here, is there any other question? Anyone? Good. My question is related to your fault model. I mean, you had a table in, I think, slide number 14 or 13 about the number of faults that you require. Can you go back to one of the slides, 14 or 13?
14.
14, 1, 4.
14.
13, one before.
Oh, sorry, I don't understand.
No, one before, one
before,
3.
1.
Yes, here.
Yes.
In this table, you have the number of faults, number of faults at the column, at the right column.
This means that we need to correct ciphertexts. We need inject force not once but multiple.
My question is, which kind of fault model you consider here? Is it possible to just inject the faults, for example, by a staccato faults, or it should be a toggle fault? Or do you follow any particular model, or no, it doesn't matter, it should lead to faulty output? Okay, good. Okay, we can continue offline, I guess. Yeah, good. Let's thank the speaker again, and also the speaker of the first talk. The session is over. There are, I think, 10 minutes or even less to exchange or change the track if you want to move to another track. I can actually read it for you if you are interested in. If you stay here, it will be side channel attacks on post-quantum implementations, the third session, if you want to change the track, you may go to dealing with macro architectural effects.